Hello, folks. Welcome into DroneNation for August 2nd, 2021. We're calling this the Marcus Flew Stonehenge episode here. I know that's a clickbaity title here, but it is a good story behind here. But hold on. I got to mute the screen here, folks. Sorry. That's always my sound check to make sure we're broadcasting, right, Marcus?
Yeah, that's one thing about it is you make sure you're broadcasting then.
Well, listen, before we jump in the show, it's a couple special announcements I want to make. We want to wish our good friend Michael Wright, that's TX Arts Drone Guy. I believe he's in the chat already. I want to wish Michael a happy 39th birthday. He's a valuable member of the DroneNation network. He does a lot behind the scenes. He's a frequent guest of the show. The man's a wealth of information, Marcus.
He absolutely is. You and I first met him at Spin Up in 2019, Ron.
He's one of the few people staying in our hotel.
And he, one of the few.
Besides the soccer team.
Besides everybody else. And DeMarco. Don't forget DeMarco Moore.
Yeah. And the soccer team.
Grad 03.
Right, and that soccer team,
that soccer team,
whole lobby that we had the broadcast from the swimming pool. But that's another story. Okay, on a more serious note here, I want to send my thoughts and prayers and the thoughts and prayers of the DroneNation Army out here to our good friend Barry Markowitz. As you all know, his wife passed away recently, and today was the burial. So let's send him as much love and thought as we can during this tough time.
Yeah, and we should also mention that she was at Spin Up 2019 as well with Barry, and she made that. I'm trying to remember the name of it. The kind of the coffee, the cocoa,
cocoa something coffee.
Yeah, gosh, I'm sorry.
The delicious coffee, folks.
It was good stuff, and you had to get in line earlier. You weren't going to get any because people loved it.
And Barry said there was even served at the eulogy on Saturday.
Yeah, yep, that's a fact. So we're in our thoughts.
All right. Okay, now let's jump right into the most important issue of the day. Marcus, is it true you flew Stonehenge and you never even left the USA?
Flew Stonehenge without leaving the USA, and Ron, I came away bloody.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm telling you got to be careful at Stonehenge. No, so on the Columbia River at Biggs Junction, and anybody in the Western United States probably knows what Biggs Junction is.
You said Biggs?
Biggs, yeah. Biggs. It's where Interstate 97, that's kind of a north-south corridor, meets the east-west corridor of Interstate 84, and there is a museum there called the Mary Hill Museum, built by a guy by the name of Sam Hill, and that's a real name. What the Sam Hill is going on?
What the Sam Hill you talking about, Marcus?
What the Sam Hill you talking about? And he is the guy. He's a guy. He just was really a dynamic individual. He was kind of behind the Sam and Rose. Sam saying, yeah, it's a big truck stop. And he's essentially right. Tons of trucks there. And every other traveler stops there as well. But Sam Hill was in the early 1900s really pushed to pave roads in the country. And so that's kind of one of his claim to fame. He was a world traveler. Anyway, he built this museum. But the other thing is, he was around that World War I generation. At the end of the war, he was really concerned about the war dead, the World War I people, the soldiers in that area that sacrificed their lives. So he built this kind of a replica, full-size replica of Stonehenge. And within Stonehenge, there are memorials to each of those soldiers that paid the ultimate sacrifice for these United States at the turn of the century. So, it was pretty cool. And I really felt honored to be able to fly the drone above it and check it out. The one thing that a number of people have reminded me of, including Lauren Donauer, who is in the chat here, is I should have walked through the thing with my GoPro and got some B-roll, but I didn't do that. But we did get some pretty good aerial video of it on a very windy day. And to make a long story short, video's all done. I've got Sarah with the GoPro. She's recording me. I'm just kind of doing a quick wrap-up conclusion. I pick up the drone, and it's all folded out. The wind caught the blades, Ron, and started spinning them like a fan, and it hit my finger, and, man, I started bleeding like a stuck pig. But all's well that ends well. So
I know you expect to be careful around spinning props, but you don't expect to be careful when the drone's off.
The drone was off. Yeah, the drone was off. Yeah.
Who knows? You may have got a flight in with the drone off.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, the way that wind was blowing. But that's another remarkable thing that you just brought up, Ron. That darn Air 2S. It's just a phenomenal piece of technology.
How did it do it? How did it do in that high wind market?
Yeah, it just did fantastic. And, I got a couple of high wind warnings, but you would never have known it while you were flying the drone. It flew just perfectly. If you look at that video and you can see all the trees blowing around and so forth, the wind, I think, was even higher than what UAV forecast was saying. And I don't remember those numbers off the top of my head. But the drone handled it great. And that's, again, it's just another testament to the kind of product that DJI hands to us.
I'm going to say we're more than 6 months into the year now. We're actually in the 8th month. And so far, it's going to be hard to beat the Air 2S for drone of the year so far, Marcus.
Man, I'm telling you, it's my favorite. And I'm not, you can call me a fanboy. I don't care. It's the best drone out there. And, you guys know some of the other stuff that I fly. And that's not taking away from drones like the Skydio 2. Really enjoy that drone. But for an all-around product that is just fantastic, that 1-inch sensor, the 5.4K video, on and on and on, thanks to the intelligent flight modes, focus track, all of those things, spotlight mode, all those things that drone brings to the table, it's just an incredible piece of tech. So I'll quit.
Now, if they can only get app version 1.48 fixed or whatever, so people don't have all these disconnects and all the other issues, will be good.
I'm glad you brought that up, Ron. So, that app is, even on iOS, I know I personally had some issues flying the Mini 2, but I've never had an issue with the Air 2S with it. And I had that one single issue with the Mini 2 and have not had a problem since. So I don't know if that's primarily an Android issue or what, but
I can't get the bottom. I've had no known issues either outside of my Zoom issue, which had nothing to do with anything but user error.
Right. Yeah,
I've been lucky, but it's too many people reporting these issues for it just to be a random thing.
I think there's no question about it. Particularly the Android people are getting very, very frustrated. And I think that kind of gets back to that issue. It's just like the difference between the early days of computers, between the Apple OS and the Windows operating system. A Windows computer could have any number of different components in it. So it was hard for software makers to build something that worked smoothly with everything. Whereas Apple, they knew what their components were and were able to build a very robust product. And I think that's kind of a similar situation. Android, these different Android phones can have so many different components on them.
And they even have their own special versions of the Android OS.
That's right. They can have different versions of the Android. Right, exactly right. And to your point also, Ron, even though we know that the smart controller is an Android-based operating system, my understanding is it's a really old one, but DJI builds a special version of the Fly app just for the smart controller. So that lends credence to exactly what you're saying.
And I want to try the smart controller with the Air 2S again. I mean, I tried it when it first months ago, but now that they've got everything updated, I want to try again. Hey, we're not going to go into depth in this because we've talked about this on some other shows in between last week's DroneNation. But the Air 2S did get a firmware update, kind of a minor firmware update. It added trim videos, which is something I think it was on the Mini where you could you could trim the videos in the app before you send them over. Air Photography's got a whole video on this if you really want to know the nuts and bolts of it, and it added the ability to sync HD photos to the DJI app, so the photos will be saved on your phone. Because if you don't click that button, you only have like these little like thumbnails that go away when you disconnect the drones. A couple other drones have had this feature too, and I always put on because I like to have the photos automatically saved over to my phone.
Yeah, now that I don't do that, but I understand why that is absolutely a big deal, because there are a number of people that they never, an SD card even, they never really save that video to a PC or edit it. It's all on their phone.
We're not going to do videos. It's just only doing photos.
Well, I understand, Ron, but I was just kind of speaking generally there, and I understand why you would want to have the full version.
Yeah, I mean, just for the say, I'm at some location. I take a beautiful sunset. I want to put it right up to Facebook. I don't want to wait home. I don't wait until I get home and forget about it, whatever. I want to put it up right there on the spot. So it's nice to have that come over. It's not a big deal, but some other drones have had this feature. I think maybe the Mini, and it's nice that they got this on there. And probably the most important one, Marcus, is it for the battery discharge. It made for a longer battery discharge time than what was I think this is kind of just what we got on the internet. I think the old discharge was around 5 days, and now they pushed it to 5 to 9 days.
Yeah, so I remember on the Go back in the old days, on the Go 4 app, you used to be able to set that. I'm trying to remember. I think it was like from 4 to 12 days, something like that. I don't remember exactly. But I guess what I'm saying is I'm glad that they did that, because often I would charge batteries and then you'd go back, 4 days later and they'd be half discharged. Well, I mean, obviously I don't want to damage a battery, but if it's okay to have them charged for 10 days, hey, I'm all for it. That gives you just that much more latitude.
Right. As long as DJI, it's under their approval and they're going to cover anything that happens with it under the warranties. Yeah, I'm all good for a couple extra days too if DJI deems it, puts their seal of approval on it. That's a good way to say it, right?
Hey, Ron, I got one question for you too. But before we get past this subject, I know that often you edit with photos and video. I know you do it on your iPad. Do you do that sometimes on your iPhone as well? And then with that in mind, I can understand why being able to get that full version of the HD version of the picture would be important to you.
Yeah, I lots of times I don't necessarily edit on the phone, but like say you're taking like you have the Air 2S out there, and you take that, it's called the smart photo, right? Where it fixes up for you right away. So those smart photos are good just to throw right up on the Facebook or Twitter or Instagram without a lot of tweaking or whatever. You can get them right up or whatever. Like other more complicated photos, I may take it into an app like Luminar and do some work on it. But sometimes if the smart photos, when you nailed it, when it doesn't need any work, you just want to get that one off and get that thing posted.
Yeah, absolutely. I get it. I absolutely get it, Ron.
So, hey, listen, we got Ray Kelly in the green room. He's ready to come on here.
Well, Ron, he's eating up all that expensive lobster. He just said so.
We did import it in from Maine for him, whatever, since he was up at the Rhode Island Drone Meetup, over the weekend. He's got
hold it. My understanding is his agent told us that he wouldn't let him on the show unless we had lobster for him in the green room.
Well, that's why we're going to let him in there, because he wants to finish he didn't have his buttered properly or whatever yet. So what we're going to do is we're going to let him finish his lobster, get it buttered or whatever. And what is it up in New England and Boston? They have that. What do they have? They have the lobster
roll,
lobster rolls or whatever. So he may be dining on some lobster rolls back there too. But Ray's even brought some exclusive video back with him for the drone meetup, so we may be able to get a little sneak peek tonight.
Well, when we get him in, I've got another question for him that's not drone related, Ron.
Okay. Well, but while Ray's finishes lobster, let's get the Hubson stuff out of the way, and then we'll go into the good stuff. Now, what is this shipping status of your Hubson Zino Mini Pro as of today?
Yeah, I'll tell you, Ron. This is really a shameful thing, and Hubson
are you processing, Marcus?
Yeah, still processing. And Hubson is ruining a lot of goodwill from a lot of people. They brought out this drone, really great specs, very excited, got us all excited about it. And a number of us pre-ordered. I pre-ordered on May 7th. My order still says processing, but let me back up a little bit. I emailed Hubson last week, and very, very nicely, nothing snarky at all, said, "Hey, I just..."
wait a minute. You said, "Hey, do you know who I am?"
Yeah, didn't do that.
From DroneNation.
I did tell them that I was very anxious to review the drone, though, however, and it would help me to know when it's going to arrive and so forth. And they said, "Hey, no problem, Marcus." They said, "It's going to ship tomorrow." And they said, "In 4 days," they said, "you'll get a tracking number." Well, that was over a week ago, and not a single word from them. And everybody's facing that frustration. And I have to tell you, Ron, even when I get that drone, even if it operates perfectly, just as advertised, I'm going to slam Hubson, I think, pretty hard in my review for the rollout of this thing, because it is shameful. It's not good customer service, and that reflects on how you can expect to be treated after the sale as well.
Well, I mean, that's certainly fair. And the latest rumor now is it's going to ship August 10th, but we keep talking. They keep moving the goalpost back.
Yeah. That means nothing. I mean, that just means
chance.
Yeah, it just means absolutely nothing. They've been saying dates forever. Now, here's the other thing. You got me rolling here, Ron.
I got him on a roll, folks.
So
Ray, eat all the lobster tail.
Yeah.
Marcus is on a roll.
Well, save some for Johnny, if you would, Ray. So what they did their recent FCC filing. They flipping took our money way back in May, and they're just now doing an FCC filing. That tells you that they never intended to ship that drone.
You say they knew that drone wasn't coming to us in June, even though that was the promise at the time?
They knew it. So basically what this is what's the name of the...
Marcus, you're a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. That's what I was trying to think of. We're Kickstarters for their drone. They needed our money to start this whole thing up. And that's very, very frustrating. And I if I'm feeling that way as a drone reviewer, I can imagine if you're just a consumer and you were hoping for that drone, just a regular consumer, it would be supremely frustrating.
Marcus, there's been days where I've been this close to going in and canceling that order.
Yeah, I don't blame you. And it just, I don't know, their reputation is just really tough to, I don't know how they're going to dig their way out of this one, let alone.
The only way they're going to dig it, the way they're going to dig their way out of is set a great drone.
It better be a premium product, and it better be perfect. Yep.
Now we did learn a little bit of information. A promotional video, basically a Chinese language promotional video, kind of leaked out last week, and we did.
By the way, about 100 people have repackaged and put it on their YouTube channel as their first view of the drone. I mean, like,
let me rephrase. It leaked out like a sieve last week. Is
like
that
a sieve?
Better?
Yeah.
And anyhow, we did learn an important piece of information after Marcus and I made videos and debated constantly about whether it had an SD card or internal memory, and we finally settled on it only had internal memory. That this promotional video clearly shows a memory card, Marcus.
Well, no, it shows a slot. Now, whether it depends on the drone. So I'm not going to completely say that, but for sure there's a memory card slot. No question about it. But if they're building that same frame for their SE version, maybe you would have that slot might be there, but there might not be anything underneath it.
Oh, you mean like I'll put a card in, it'll go all the way inside the drone, and I'll shake.
Yeah, you'd have a rattly drone there for a while.
Yeah. So okay, yeah, well, I guess we get back. We don't know anything for sure, but now it has cast doubt on it not having an SD card. Now, some doubt is recast. Is that fair?
I would say that is absolutely fair. Yeah.
And if the drone never ships, none of this matters anyways.
Yeah, I mean, gosh, it's just crazy. I mean, it's hard to even, yeah.
Well, okay, let's not get Marcus any more frustrated than this. We beat this story to a dead horse every time on. Let's get to some good news. Let's bring in, all the way from Long Island, New York, Captain Ray Kelly. Welcome in,
Captain. Ron, Marcus.
Captain, my captain.
And everybody in the chat, how's everybody tonight?
I think everybody's doing well. It's the beginning of August, and how's your summer been, Ray?
My summer's been going great, but I got to set the record straight. The only thing you guys got in your green room is Lay's potato chips.
Our caterer didn't get the lobster there in time. Well,
wow, I'm going to cancel
if they couldn't get the full lobster, they can at least get some lobster rolls, right?
I know. I tell you. Well, I tell you, you know where I was this weekend?
We do, and now let's start from the beginning. I saw a picture earlier Saturday morning. Is it true you took a ferry boat?
Yeah.
I went
to Orient Point, which is the end of Long Island. Drove my car onto the ferry, crossed the Long Island Sound, and landed in Newport, Connecticut. New London, Connecticut. And then I drove up to Providence from there.
How long was the ferry ride?
The ferry ride's an hour and 15 minutes.
Not bad.
No, I broke the trip up nice. An hour to the ferry, hour and 15 on the ferry, and then 55 minutes from the ferry to get to Providence. But it really was. I had such a great time, and I gotta say, Mark and the Rhode Island Drone Meetup group are amazing. It was a first-class event all the way.
Is it true they had a food truck there?
Yeah, a food truck and an ice cream truck. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, and it was so many.
You had me at the ice cream truck.
I tell you, Mark's friend actually owned the ice cream truck, and it was a nice treat because it was obviously midday. It wasn't a hot day, but it was hot, and he came with frozen lemonade, and it was just great. The other thing is there had to be at least 50, maybe 55 people there.
Wow.
It was totally successful. It really was.
Now, I saw a lot of people from the New York groups, right? I saw Lawrence and
Herman Green.
Yeah.
Eddie Nunes was there.
I saw Eddie.
Deneen Pagan was there. And
was Charlie Mafia there?
No, he couldn't make it. I don't know what happened, but he couldn't make it. And Paulie couldn't make it. But it was really a great event.
I think I saw that young man, Billy Kyle, there.
That's what I was just going to say. Billy Kyle was there with Ken Dono,
Wow.
And I can't say enough about it. Mark Fisher, I know he worked his butt off, trying to organize this thing and put it together. And he ended up raising money. He put it out there to the Rhode Island Meetup group. If you want to donate, I'm going to buy one Mavic Mini to raffle off as a raffle prize. Well, he got enough donations from the different members where they ended up buying 2 Mavic Minis.
Wow.
And they did it through DroneWorks, a company called DroneWorks. I don't really know them, but they were so nice that they waived the shipping, and they they sent fly more combos instead of just the basic Mini 2 drone.
Oh, that's great.
Oh, wow.
DroneWorks is the company that Ken Dono is involved with down in Florida. Yeah.
Right. And you know, I was hoping my name would have been on that on one of those drones, but my lucky number didn't come up. You know, but there were other prizes too. You know what was really good too, I thought, is the local weatherman from the TV there. He ended up going because he flies drones too.
Get out of here. Huh.
And
did you make a TV station then?
I got there about an hour after it started, but I was told that he did his weather forecast from the meetup.
Why not?
So let me ask you, Captain Ray. So if he did the weather forecast from the meetup, and he's probably a Part 107 pilot, did he do the weather forecast as a METAR or a TAF?
Yeah. I tell you, he was a nice guy. I would have liked to talk to him more. I introduced myself and said hello to him and took his picture when he won a nice prize, by the way. He won a Phantom 4 bag, for your drone. And it was a real nice bag. So I went over and took a photo, and I ended up posting it on Facebook. And there were just so many, the thing about meetups, Ron, from South Florida and the meetups you've been to, is you meet the old people that you know, and then new people that you don't even know. And I met a lot of new drone pilots, and it was just great. I had such a great time.
So,
great. Yeah.
Captain Ray, I'm sure you probably brought a drone with you. Number one, what drone did you bring? And number two, what were most people flying there? Yeah,
well, I just happen to have the drone here, because it's usually, 3-4 feet from me at all times.
That looks like that new Air 2S drone.
Yeah, this is the Air 2S. This is my favorite, But I did bring the Phantom 4.
Oh, wow.
And but I didn't fly it.
Okay.
It was there. And then I brought this little baby too,
The baby went?
But he stayed in the car too.
Good. He deserves to be left in the car.
So, but I tell you, I got some great flight, and it's a great location there at Collier Park in Providence, because you're right on the Providence River, and you got boats, and there were 3 tugboats across the river, and I was hoping to do a little boat chasing, a boat following, and I wanted to capture one of those tugs coming or leaving, and I was able to do that,
Nice. And so did you notice with the Air 2S that it's actually smart enough to know that it's a boat, and it'll put a little picture of a boat on the screen for you there. You touch it, and it'll track it.
I know. I didn't think to do that. I should have tried that feature, and that would have been a lot of fun.
What I think is cool is it knows the difference between a boat or a car or a person.
It's amazing. It really is, and you got to give DJI a lot of credit. You really do.
Of course, Ray. I do have to make a confession. The Scudio had that before the DJI drones did.
Okay.
Remember we first got the Scudio, put a plus on the cars and people.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, there was FPV guys there too. I'm not an FPV guy, but when I got there, they were in the I guess it's the north end of the park. We were separated in 2 different groups. But they were having a ball. I could see them zipping around, flying, and some of the drones came down by us, went around us and back. But it was just great to see the 2 groups flying. And then later on, we got together, and then they started flying on the main pier. I don't know if I sent you the video. Hopefully you'll be able to show it.
I got it queued up, so in a few minutes you just tell me where to go to, and I'll play that part.
the way it's set up is they had a main fishing pier right there, and there had to be 10 to 15 pilots out there flying. Take it off. There had to be 10 in the air at one time, right from that dock.
Oh.
You know, you guys know I'm a wimpy flyer. So I ended up taking off from the back of my car. You know, I set my landing pad up back there and I took off and I went over those guys, but I could see the drones, you know, zipping up.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm saying, man, I hope everybody's coordinating their heights and distance, because we don't want a mid-air collision up there and somebody lose their drone.
Right,
well,
right.
we certainly don't want a mid-air collision unless somebody has video of it.
Well, that's true, yeah. Because then it goes viral.
Yeah, our little kind of private meetup at the Jupiter Lighthouse, we were all good that day, calling out where our drone was, and each of us flying at different heights and whatever. So we were real coordinated that morning.
Yeah, and that's key. You know, when you're flying in a group like that, it's key to do that, you know. But I just can't say enough about it. I love the meetups, you know that, and flying with other pilots. So I'm looking forward to the next one in November.
Well, but don't forget the next one's really in August down in Tennessee.
Right.
Our good friend Ken Herron's meetup Minefield.
So, Ron, did you commit to that yet?
Well, I'm still what do you call it, wishy-washy or
cogitating,
uncommitted.
How about you, Captain Ray?
Yeah, no, I would love to be able to squeeze it in, but I just can't squeeze that one in.
Yeah.
But I do have my ticket for Spin Up, so I'm looking forward to that. And I even got a ticket for that South Florida drone meetup in April. April 2nd.
I heard that's a good one, Ray. I hear that's a nice meetup that they have down there.
So it's going to be a good time in Jensen Beach, Florida, on April 2nd, 2022.
I mean, this is kind of the year of the drone meetup, really. I mean, there's always been spin-ups and whatever, maybe here and there, but I think this is the first year, and I think it's a lot to do with you, Ray. Starting off with the Florida one, you kind of really started I'm going to call it the year of the meetup up.
Well, I wouldn't say that, you know. But I appreciate that, Ron, you know. And again, I go back to the meetup that I sort of, you know, suggested, and I thought we were going to have 4 or 5 people, and we had over 50 plus at that meetup, you know. But again, I got to give a lot of credit to Maddie and Johnny and Brad Alston, because they all helped me with it. And so did the people that donated prizes, you know, that's a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even have to ask for it. People just said, I'm bringing stuff to donate, and you can give it away.
Michael is going to at TX Arch Drone Guy is going to Minefield. So
you mean the birthday boy?
The birthday boy is going to be there. Yep, absolutely.
So we will, folks. We will have Michael on if he's willing to come on the show after he attends that event, and he can fill us in on all the nitty gritty and all the good stuff that happened there.
Hey, Ron, can I say a couple of quick words about Spin Up, just while it's fresh in my mind here? So anybody yet that if they haven't got your tickets, you're going to want to get them as soon as you can, because the price goes up the closer we get to the event. And then also hotel reservations, you know, you're going to want to find a hotel close by. I think that Spring Hill Suites that's kind of on the property, it's already full. So, you know, time's a waste, and get your resis. And then the other thing is, if you're renting a car, you're probably going to want to do that as soon as possible too, because we do know there's a shortage of cars. I ended up, in fact, I just locked in my rental car today. I went on the Hertz website, and that seemed to be where I could get the best deal on a renter car, just going straight to their website. So anyway, just information.
Very good information, Marcus. Ray, is there a particular part of the video, like you know, a time I can go to and play a good minute or two that would kind of represent the event well?
I don't know, the tugboats, the giveaways, you know.
So I don't want to play your whole video here. Or whatever.
Yeah, I try to keep up.
Let me see.
Come on, Captain.
but I couldn't keep this one under 5 minutes, so I think it went to 11 minutes 32.
Yeah, I want to play like maybe like I'll look for those tugboats. Okay,
Oh,
I think I got some good video here. Let me come back here and let me do that. Share the screen here. I see some boats, so we're gonna everybody loves boats, right? Who doesn't love a good boat?
Captain Ray, I don't remember the last time I made an 11-minute video.
I know, I tell you. But look at this location.
Oh man,
it is amazing. And those windmills down there, people flew down to those windmills.
Son of a!
Wow.
But
there's some boats out there.
They did have a geofence around them. Lawrence,
hey, look at that nice bridge.
Yeah, that was nice. Yeah, I tell you.
Oh, look, you're zooming.
Yeah,
there's the tugboats.
I love that zoom on the Air 2S.
Hey, Ray, just don't turn on that D-log.
It's one of those things where I love Paul Murray's videos. I'm sure a lot of people have watched.
This is the great Paul Murray.
The way Eddie Nunez, yeah.
Look at him with that big camera.
Yeah. And he's another one. I got him taken off with his FPV company, PKI FPV.
Yeah.
And he's a good drone pilot.
Hey, let me see if I get some more action here. Here we go.
There were children there.
In the air.
But this is it. This is at the end of the dock. And
is that original Dobo? No.
No, but that's the gentleman who won the Mini 2.
Oh wow! Was he the weatherman?
No.
Oh, okay.
But
hey, there goes the tug.
Yeah, there's the tug. But I did capture it from the air too. That's Lawrence Clark, Tom Dowling, and Rob Kamada.
Hey, Captain Ray, did anybody fly that bridge? Fly under the bridge?
I didn't see anybody go under it. So many people will buy it though. And this is Rob taking off with his Autel Evo.
Oh wow!
Nice. That is a good-looking drone, man.
Why does that always make me want to get a slice of pumpkin pie?
He's got a camera, and he'll show.
Does he have what? Does he have a triple tech pad on it?
He's got the flare camera because he's a volunteer firefighter.
Oh, yeah. Look, that's a triple tech pad.
Yep, nice. And he uses it for the Syosset Fire Department. That drone.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
very cool. Well, I don't want to play your whole video. If anybody wants to see the rest, the rest of this video, you go right over to Captain Ray's channel. We'll drop the link in the show notes here.
But it was just a first-class event all around, and the weather was perfect. I can't say enough. Again, Mark Fisher, you did a great job. You and the rest of the Rhode Island Drone Meetup group. Kudos to you all. And there were a lot of wives that were helping, by the way. Got to give them credit, too.
Yeah, let's thank Mark and everybody that helped and contributed to the drone meetup. I'm looking forward to I hope he has another one next year. Maybe I can sneak up there for next year's event. And I want to promise the weather will be as good as it was this past Saturday, because I know how good the weather was at the Jersey Shore. So I know you must have got some of the same weather I had.
It was beautiful. It really was. One other thing. When I left to go back to the ferry, I had some time to kill.
What time did you leave? What time did it break up?
It broke up around, I guess, 2:30, 3 in the afternoon.
What time did you actually get there in the morning?
I guess they were there early.
What time did you get there?
Me, I got there a little after 9, 9:15.
9, okay. Yeah. Okay.
But they were doing another evening flight in Newport. And
I love Newport.
I just couldn't stay for that, so I had to head back to the ferry. But the
last ferry probably was going out at a certain time. Yeah, I know how those ferries are.
Yeah, but I had the late ferry booked, but I was going to go on a standby line for an earlier ferry. But I wanted to go and fly there because I had seen 2 tall ships. I don't know if anybody's familiar with the Eagle, the U.S. Coast Guard Eagle, which is a 295-foot tall ship that the Coast Guard has. And a ship called the Peacemaker was there also. But anyway, I got there. I didn't get on the 4 o'clock ferry, but anyway, I killed time and I was able to go on board that ship for a tour.
Wow.
And I couldn't fly it with the drone because it's a no-fly zone. You know, I couldn't even get Lance approval to fly. 0 altitude.
So you can fly, maybe you can fly your GoPro around and get some B-roll.
Yeah, I did. I did that one. Well, my iPhone 12. I use the iPhone 12 now.
Well, you can't go wrong there. You have a gimbal?
Well, I got a tripod. I got my tripod.
Well, you know, the other thing about that iPhone, my 11, the stability, that's built into it is just amazing.
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Captain Ray, can I ask you a non-drone related question?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Well, so you mentioned to me that you filmed a TV show at Riverhead Raceway in Long Island. Can you enlighten me? Can you tell me what that's about?
Yeah. Well, anyway, you know, at the time I was doing a fishing show, a TV fishing show, and I like car racing. So I made the proposal to the track. I'll come down and started a TV show. And to my surprise, they said, okay. But now I had to get a cameraman. It's a Saturday night thing. You guys probably know that, Saturday night racing. So my son, he ended up volunteering to be the cameraman for the first night of filming. And he actually brought a friend and we showed up with 2 cameras and, you know, we looked pretty professional. But again, Starlight Productions was not a big company by any means. But we filmed all the different divisions and races, including modifieds and late models. And they even had a figure 8 race.
Wow.
The following week, my son came back with me. We filmed another episode and it was good, you know. The 3rd weekend, I had to go back. My son says, "Hey, Dad, I'm busy this weekend." I have to get another cameraman. So I got another cameraman, hired another cameraman. And then the 4th weekend, I couldn't get a cameraman.
Oh, geez.
Luckily, it was the end of the show. I mean, the end of the season. My wife helped me with that one. Like your wife helped you?
Yeah.
She helped me do the 4th episode of that show. And then, and that was, it's a small track, Marcus. It's only a 1/4 mile track, concrete track, you know, or blacktop, I should say. But it was an experience. And it was just a fun time.
Sounds like it. Now, I want to add that everybody knows that New York State is known for figure 8 racing in Islip, New York.
Islip, sure.
Yeah,
I mean, that's wild world of sports back in the day.
Yep.
Yeah, but I like going to the figure 8 at this track. It is, and they also have a demolition derby, by the way.
Now, how close is that to your house, Ray?
15 minutes.
Oh, that's not bad.
Hey, I don't want to get too far off drones here, but it was an interesting statement that you made, Ray, and I wanted to explore it.
I may approach him and try to film one of the races with the drone, though.
With the drone, yep.
Thinking of it.
Did you see Ken Herron's latest video?
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah, that was interesting.
Yeah. He went out to a racetrack and was chasing cars with his FPV drone, and he actually crashed one on the track.
Ooh.
And he got really lucky, though. It didn't get damaged.
Right.
They literally yellow flagged the race. And
they yellow flagged the race.
Yeah, you might have to tell the drivers, hey, you guys got to slow down. There's a drone on the track.
Evidently, yeah. Anyway, it was really interesting. He did a good job. Yeah.
Well, listen, what's for help to help us get back on track here on drones? We're going to bring a special guest in. He's been back in the green room. He's probably the one, Ray, that got all your lobster, whatever. So we got to get him on before he eats it all and gains like 10 pounds back there, whatever. So with no further ado, all the way from due south, from cool and breezy Louisiana, we're bringing in Johnny Drone Flyer. Hello, Johnny.
Captain Ron, Marcus, how y'all doing tonight?
Hey, Johnny.
We're doing
Yeah,
well.
I can't never. I think that green room is full of mirrors because I go in the door and just come back out and go in another door, and it's kind of the same. But no, hey Ray, I was just wondering if the weather guy would have showed up in Rhode Island if it was raining that day.
Yeah, I know.
He'd have been in studio that day, Johnny.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was a beautiful day, man. They had a great time. And I know I saw Lawrence and Herman talking about the New York representation. Man, they had a lot of people.
Yeah, New York was represented pretty good up there, right?
Yeah. No, we had a good time.
Yeah. Hey, one of the reasons we got Johnny on the show here is
on vacation too, though. I was jealous of Johnny.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Johnny was at the lake. He almost. It's like he didn't have people there for a meetup.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Well, I just want to add the cool thing that you did, Johnny, was to take us all along, and you posted videos every few days. It was really fun watching you and your family have fun.
It was a great trip. Sometimes vacations turn out better. Sometimes they could be like the movie Vacation, but hey, this was a great vacation.
And Johnny, off air, weren't you telling me you took a couple drones, but you wound up flying the Mini the most?
Well, I had the Air 2S and the Mini 2, but I ended up grabbing the Mini 2 a lot. And I flew the Air 2S kind of more at the lake house, and I brought the Mini 2 on a boat a lot more. Just
that was your boating drone.
Size, and it was just easy. I was taking off from a boat, hand launching, taking off from a rock. So yeah, it's a little different flying, taking off from a boat and landing on a boat.
Well, I was trying to spark because you saw what happened to Russ over 51 drones last week.
Yeah.
He lost his Air 2S on a boating kind of accident. So if you're going to lose something, you might as well lose the Mini and not the Air 2S.
Kudos to Russ on that. I don't know if you watched his latest video.
Right.
He basically goes through it. And this happens to me all the time. I'm just curious if you guys get it too. But unintended movement of your sticks. You think you have your stick in one position, but you really do have it a little bit down or up, or yeah.
Yeah, I actually took off once, and I could have had the Mini 2 kind of drifted off to the left, and you got a lot going on the boat, and you had 6 kids on there, and I'm trying to be safe, and so yeah, it's something could happen mighty quick, yeah, and that's why they call them accidents for sure. Right.
Johnny, did anybody else try to fly the drone while you were on vacation?
No. My son-in-law was driving a boat, and my other son-in-law was taking care of the Miller Lite, making sure it wasn't the cans wasn't staying full. So
Bailey doesn't have her Part 107 yet.
No, she doesn't. She'll come out there with me sometime on the driveway or when we go to location. But I don't know. She hasn't taken a lot of interest. Now my littlest one, the 9-year-old Lainey, has taken a little bit of interest. The one that popped on the show the other day.
Yeah, right. Well, they were jumping off those cliffs, man. Yeah. And I was saying, I give them a lot of credit to do it.
Yeah, what's amazing though, the footage from that drone, that I tell you what, that was with the Mini 2. It's just so incredible steady. And people see that video, and I've had some friends I posted on my regular Facebook, and man, it's like I had a guy call me. He said, man, was that, were you just taking that from, he thought I was just taking it from a phone or something or whatever. I said, no, it would have been more bouncier than that.
Right.
But yeah, it was fun. Great trip.
Hey, one of the reasons we got Johnny on here is Johnny and Ray have a big show come up on Wednesday this week. They always a big show, but this week on the Fly for Fun show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, they're going to have, help me out with the name here, Randall Warnes from Alltel. He's the CEO. A lot of people saw him get interviewed by Original Dobo a little while back or whatever, but he's going to be on the Fly for Fun show Wednesday, and I was invited on the show also, so we're going to have, a good discussion with him about, Alltel and the Evo 2 and the future of Alltel and whatever. I think it's going to be a great show, and I think, we can pass a lot of good information on to people that are interested in Alltel or just curious.
He seemed like a normal guy. Ray reached out to him, and he said yes. And I think he started June the 1st, so he hadn't been there very long.
Right.
But, maybe he's got his feet on the ground a little bit. And I know Dobo, kind of asked him a few questions about some new drone or Mini. And he didn't you know, he didn't deny it or didn't confirm it, but hey, you know, maybe now he's got his feet on the ground and getting his team together. So I think it'll be interesting to hear his comments, you know.
Hey, Johnny, if we know one thing, Captain Ray will nail him down on whether he's coming out with a mini drone or not.
Yeah, no, hey, you know, Captain Ray, you know, he texted me, he said, man, he said, you know, this guy had his email up there and he said, I think I'm going to ask him to be on the show. And I said, well, hey, if he says yes, I mean, absolutely, of course. And you know, he does answer emails. I know Mark Fisher emailed him. I think somebody else in one of the live streams, you know, he'll answer. And he did put his email out there. I know I was even like watching that interview that night and I said, man, this guy's giving his email. You know, I would have maybe gave a fake email, you know, but man, and he answers really quick. Ray says, you know,
yeah, he immediately answered the email. And again, you know, I gotta say, I didn't expect it, so I was shocked, you know. But I also asked him if he was going to be involved with a sponsor of South Florida Drone Meetup, and he said, "We sure are. We're going to sponsor it." I don't know how.
Actually, we need you on the show. We need to commit him to appearing at the South Florida Drone Meetup.
I would love for him to come, you know, personally come. But I'm sure he's got better things to do. But you never know, you know. You just never know. And you got to invite. If you don't invite, you know.
Well, yeah. And one thing about it, he seemed very candid and he seemed very honest. And, you know, he wants to bring Autel into that. You know, he talks about what the consumer wants, the consumer should get. So, you know, especially about customer service. And that's a big point. You know, of course, he did work for DJI and you know, so he's knows his stuff for, you know, I'm not sure about his age, but, you know, I'll tell you what, he's been around in the drone community and he's definitely going to, it looks like he's very committed to, yeah, it's a big job. It's not, you know, he's not just a part of the development or anything. He is the CEO. So that's pretty interesting.
He mentioned that he's very customer service oriented.
Right.
You know, what the customer wants, the customer will get. So I really feel that they're going to come out with a mini. I think.
So guys, if you're in the chat, you know, be thinking if you want to ask him a question. You know, I'm sure you know we can you can type it in the chat on that show, and
or you can send it to us in advance so we can have it like written down.
And I asked Ron because Ron owns the Evo, and you know I don't want to. I mean, I'm not going to lie to the guy. I don't have any. You know, I don't have a Autel, and now would I buy one if they had an opportunity to they need some inventory. They really only have 1 or 2 drones to pick from right now. And
they really only have one current drone, the Evo 2 and 2 configurations.
Right.
Well, the other thing to mention here is the fact that they're going through that change in chip architecture on their drones, and so they're kind of in between right now. So I would imagine there's probably a little bit of supply chain disruption going on.
I think so. And the chip shortage is definitely, I mean, you know, I think, you know, for a while, I think everybody was using the excuse of COVID and, you know, people were saying, hey, that's maybe it's just an excuse. But now I think we found out it's probably, it's the truth. And it's starting to catch up with a lot of people, you know, of course, Apple doesn't seem to have a problem. Of course, they're on their own now. So.
They're a whole different kettle of fish.
Whole different, all the drone companies put together. But no, I'm very excited to have them on. So, but hey, anybody in the chat, if you want to ask a question, we can ask it at night, or we'd be glad to pass it on and try to get an answer. Because I think he's trying to make, a commitment to that company. Of course, I mean, I'm sure he's not working for peanuts, but he's going to, a lot to be expected out of him.
Yeah, when Virgil Doble had him on, he didn't seem to be ducking any questions.
No, he's been on a couple shows now, and I've been watching back and forth, and I mean, of course, he's getting asked a lot of the same questions, but every day goes by, he's putting his team together, and so I think now he may have his. I know he's talked about hiring some guys that I'm sure that he worked with through the years. So,
well, if you talk about consumer drone companies, really. The only ones that really compete on that level are, of course, DJI. They're the king of the heap. And then, fortunately, we have Skydio here in the U.S. But Autel definitely fits in that consumer drone category where they're building, what you would consider a quality product that does what it says and has a level of customer service that you can count on. Now, I would have said Parrot, but obviously Parrot has
They're taking a new direction, yeah.
the consumer market. But the three really now that we're really left with is DJI, Autel, and Skydio.
And Marcus, one thing I think they don't have to do is build I mean, it could be a middle price drone in that $700 to $800, $900 range. It don't have to be a $400 drone because that's probably something they don't want to build.
Yeah, no, I agree. I absolutely agree.
But, spending upwards of say 16, and I know Ron and I was talking on the phone earlier today, and they did have this special on Evo 2 for I think maybe $12.99, $13.99 a couple.
Yeah, I think $11.99. It was real low for that one Father's Day sale or whatever it was.
But that's still a lot of money to jump into. If you go to the DJI site, you can spend as little as $3.99 or as much as you want, basically.
To your point, Johnny. What they need is a high volume product in that mid price thing.
Absolutely.
And man, would that company take off then? If you had just what you described, a $600, $700, $800 drone, they'd sell a ton of them. And
because obviously we'll buy anything. Femi, Zinos, so.
Oh, you're hurting me. You're hurting me, man.
Yeah. Hey, Interactive DNA. He heard us talking about the Anafi. He saw that little video last week where the Anafi went out 40 kilometers. That one it runs on what LTE or
cellular connection. Yeah.
It's got unlimited distance, basically, or pretty close to it.
Now, did that guy have line of sight the whole way? They flew it out 40 kilometers.
Well, he's got friends watching it.
Yeah, the spotters.
Yeah. Really good. He got people with really good eyes.
Hey, I want to answer what Lon Dennard is talking about. The Autel stays in business. Now, let me tell you, Lon, I can't speak. They could eliminate their drone part of their business, but trust me, Autel is a huge company, and they build tons and tons of automotive tools. You go in any automotive shop across the country, and you're going to see a ton of Autel equipment in there.
Yeah, I think they'll. I mean, with the right drones, like Marcus says, to get it in numbers, they need a drone in numbers, and they could do that with a. And I personally think that they have a Mini in production or some kind of Air 2 type drone, Air 2S, whatever. You
know what happens though? You become so familiar with the drone that you fly, or drones that you fly, you almost don't want to try a new drone, and that's a bad attitude to have, because the new drone could be better than the ones you have.
Yeah, it kind of works both ways. I mean, I can kind of see both sides of that coin, really, Captain Ray. I mean,
it could be a bomb,
Yeah.
Marcus, Captain Ray said he took that drone up 50 feet today.
You did? You flew it today, Captain Ray?
Yeah, I flew it, and the winds were 8 miles an hour, and that drone was going all over the place.
Oh,
it's not as stable as the DJI Mini. I compare it to the DJI Mini, and the stability is just not there, and I don't trust it, to be honest with you.
Just bring it to the spin up, and we'll add a drone to the drone wars.
Drone demolition. Harder than you think, Johnny.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but I'm sure. Hey, so what? If we not, we'll just dive bomb.
We'll throw.
Yeah.
Hey, listen, I want to change gears for just a second. Barry Markowitz sent this story to Marcus and I. It was a video where somebody was talking about GoPro Hero 10 rumors, and the guy was saying that one of the big rumors for the GoPro Hero 10 would have a faster processor. It just got a new sensor last year, but it stuck with the old processor, and the touchscreen was slow to respond to commands, and it's probably because of that older processor they have in there. So they're hoping they're going to upgrade the processor. But he said this guy's video, I'll put his video in the thing later on. He also said that he heard this may have 4K 120 frames per second.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
I mean, I like the GoPro. Don't misunderstand me. But I find that if you shoot with the GoPro and then I'm shooting with the iPhone too, it just makes the editing that much harder for me, you know. So I mean, I love the GoPro. Don't misunderstand me, especially for underwater stuff. I use it a lot for underwater.
I know exactly what you're saying, Captain Ray. I was shooting a video, some video I shot recently. A friend of mine commented, "Oh, you should have used this app on the iPhone, for this part of it." I said, "Yeah, you're entirely right, but I wanted my editing process to be easy, so I just shot the whole thing on the GoPro because I didn't, just exactly like you said, I didn't want to edit between devices. So maybe I could have got a better shot with the iPhone, but I just kept it simple."
Yeah,
So,
right, exactly.
Hey, and the other rumor this guy had is something near and dear to Marcus's heart. This guy, he speculated that they would add the wireless Bluetooth audio mic similar to what the DJI Pocket has, so that you would not need all the media mods and with that dongle that went on the side of it to allow you to plug mics into it.
It's the same thing. Well, I just see Bob Casey saying he likes the Osmo Action. So do I. But both of those cameras, you cannot just plug a microphone into them, let alone a Bluetooth solution. You have to, like you said, Ron, you have to have a dongle or the media mod on the Hero, and you got to have that weird little plug-in on the side of the Osmo Action as well. And that's to me is a big oversight on action cameras, and hopefully that's something that'll get solved.
And Lauren saying that the rumors for the new Osmo Action is 8K 120 frames per second. Now this guy, he didn't think that he thought the Hero 10 would keep the 5K. He didn't think they would jump up to 8K. So at 8K,
I noticed you got to create.
To me, I really don't. I would never buy anything just because it had 8K.
Yeah, do you need 8K? Do you really need 8K?
They're getting up there.
Yeah.
Well, you could buy an 8K television now.
Right.
But not cheaply.
Not
cheaply. No.
And then you can watch all the 8K content that Lauren's going to be pushing out with his new Osmo Action 8K.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring the conversation back to car racing. But Mark, you had a very successful weekend. You won 2 of your races, didn't you?
Yeah. So the way that works is it's what they call a club challenge series, and I race with the Corvette Club. So there's 6 of us, and we accrue points for each round we get through. And so you're just trying to get through as many rounds as you can. And so I was able to get through a couple of rounds with the C8, and in 100-degree weather, I ran an 11.8 in that thing at 119 miles an hour. Just think when the weather starts to cool off a little bit, how fast is that car going to go? And it's just really fun when you're going up against those specific drag racer cars, and they always get you out of the hole. But as you saw, Captain Ray, that Corvette on the top end, it just sneaks up on them. And
right.
There's a nice video.
What was cool is you had an in-car camera set up.
Well, what I did now that was the Go 2, the Insta360 Go 2, and it's got a little sticky thing that you can slap on the windshield. Now, what was odd about that is I didn't have it. Evidently, I didn't have it in Pro Video. I just had it in a standard video mode, so I couldn't easily adjust that. But it was definitely messing with the stabilization in that camera, because, as you can imagine, when you take off, when that light goes green, it's pretty violent. And
I went to them in Palm Beach this past winter, and that was the first time I went, and I was like shocked. I really was. But next time you got to get some drone footage, Marcus.
Well, I've thought about that. I thought about talking to the people, because I know the people at the track very well, the owners of the track. Okay. And obviously you'd have to avoid flying over people, etc. So you could probably do it from the side that could happen one of these days. You never know. And it is in Class G airspace. I looked it up. It is also a VFR waypoint. That track, if you look at on the sectional chart, you'll see Firebird Raceway as a VFR waypoint for pilots to spot. Yeah.
Marcus, I got to tell you, that color, that blue is very pretty, man. It's just it's impressive. I mean, I like sports cars are red. I like the white even, and I had a yellow Corvette, but I tell you what, the blue is. Man, that's a beautiful car.
Marcus, who had that yellow Corvette in that picture you posted?
That's my good friend Mike Smith and Casey Steck, who's in the chat here. I was at that car show the very next day in a little town called Kuna, Idaho, and my friend Mike Smith had his yellow C8, and he was actually running the car show. He's the president of the Lions Club. Mm-hmm. So he saved a spot for me right next to him, and I parked there. And Mr. Steck walked up to me and introduced himself, and we had a nice conversation. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing but fun. And I know, Johnny, I know you've had some Corvettes before, and Captain Ray, I know you had kind of a special Corvette there for a while. We just need to get Ron into a Corvette one of these days.
I rode one when I was a young man. I rode one when I was a young man.
Yeah. Well, if I have my way, Ron, I'll get to take you for a ride. And
Ron would be the hit. He'd be the hit of the beach area over there if he rode around that Corvette.
He would. He would.
These beach communities, they're a high dollar. You see some nice vets down here, and you see some nice Ferraris and Lamborghinis, and you see all the high end cars down here if you look around enough.
Yeah.
Ron, not to change the subject, but I noticed you don't like to talk about yourself that much, but you do some great flying down there in the Jersey Shore. Your sunsets are incredible. The beaches there are beautiful. I really enjoy your video.
Thank you, Ray. I know a funny comment. This has been going on for years. Like they rake the beach in Margate every day. They have machinery goes along and they rake the beach. And people from other parts of the country always comment, I've never seen beaches like that before. Like they rake them and clean them every morning. And we're so used to it here. Like I kind of forget that that's not common in other parts of the country.
Well, they do that in Southern California. If you go to some of those Southern California beaches, I know they do that.
They did it in Alabama at Owls. Yeah, they did it every day.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems to be not that a lot of people comment they've never seen anything like that before. So I guess, and I've been to a lot of areas where the beach is just the beach. It's nobody touches it, it's just, except for Mother Nature.
And that beach is very close to your home. It's very convenient for you.
Well, I live closer to the other side of the island, the bay side of the island, but it's not that big. So I mean, a 10-minute walk. 10-minute walk to the beach tops or whatever, and I don't mean like jogging or whatever. I mean just lose you walk down or whatever. So again, it's not a big island.
Yeah.
No matter where you are on the island, you're not that far away from the beach.
So it's still on my list, Ron. I haven't closed out my list for this summer.
We'll have to get you down here after the season. Yeah. Because some of the best weather in September, some of the best weather of the year down here.
Yep.
We'll
have a mini meetup, you and I.
Mini meetup. Well, we could probably get some other people to pop over or whatever. Hey, on the way out the door here, Sean, our good friend Sean over at Air Photography, he posted a video recently where he put a wish list up for things he wanted to see on the Mini 3, and maybe the Mini 2S or whatever. But how about you guys? On the way out the door, can you just give one wish you would have that you want to see on the DJI Mini 3 coming out in the fall, hopefully?
Gosh, for me, the Mini 2 is so good. Maybe higher frame rates or something in 4K, I suppose. As far as tracking, I'm not worried about that, or obstacle avoidance on a Mini 3, although I suspect that's probably what they'll provide, because, a Mini, I just don't see that that's what that drone is for. So anyway, my 2 cents.
Zoom capabilities in photo mode.
Well, Yeah, well, no, the Mini has zoom.
Mini has
photo.
a-
Not
It's
in
the Air,
photo
it's the
mode.
Air 2S that doesn't have photo zoom.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it does?
The Air 2S doesn't have it. The Mini 2 has it.
Yeah, the
That's
Mini
amazing.
2 has video and photo zooming.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm like, and I know some people say battery life, but battery life isn't. I mean, if you get 25 minutes or so, that's long enough, especially if you're flying. Get what you got to get in there, get out of there, get your picture and get out of there. But yeah,
You
I
and me
think
both, Johnny.
the zoom capability, maybe a little better zoom, but yeah, and maybe some frame rate stuff. But as far as the active tracks and stuff, I don't really know. But Marcus, like you always say, they'll give us something that we hadn't thought about,
Well, Air Photography, one of Air Photography's Johnny he's thinking along with you. He wanted them to make he called it like a pro battery that would give you more flight time. Now it would put you over the 250 gram, but it would be sold as a pro battery and you would know that this battery would not come with a drone. This would be after back as you could put in, you get longer battery life.
Yeah. That don't personally excite me, as far in the 250 gram here in the United States, it's people make too big a deal out of that. I mean, it's not really something to worry about.
My feature would be a bigger image sensor, whatever. Right now we're stuck with that kind of like that, that
1 over 2.3 or
1 over 2.3, that small one. I would like to see it go to maybe the old quad bear sensor that the Air 2, regular Air 2 have, or maybe even that 1 1/3 sensor that supposedly the Zino Mini Pro is going to have, and of course that would maybe lead to maybe 4K 60, which the Mini's still stuck at 4K 30.
Yeah.
Ron, I got one more thing I wanted to point out here. Our friend Sean Oz is live from Las Vegas right now. So
okay. I want everybody to, he's in Las Vegas with his son. He's doing kind of a live pop-up on his phone. I'm going to go over and kind of join him on that as best I can. So everybody just go over to Sean's regular channel and tune in, see the sights of Vegas or whatever. If you haven't never been to Vegas, maybe he can show you the best of them. And one last thing I want to add out of the conversation, whatever they add to the Mini 2, I don't want to see a large price increase. I would rather them not do much of anything and keep the price at around what it is now than put a bunch of stuff in and knock the price up $100 or $150 or something.
Yeah. Well, more features, more money, but hey.
So
I think they could do most of that except for the camera would be the biggest, if they change the camera would be where the money would be,
Hey Ron, Leonard JSK says he'll meet us down at the Jersey Shore too.
There we go. We got 3 now. Yeah, Leonard's in New Jersey. He told me what county he was in. Somebody said they were in. I don't think it was him. It was in Somerset. Somebody else was in one of the counties in North Jersey. And Captain Ray, that video you sent me about the shark attacks in 1916 or whatever that year was, or whatever. You got that one up in North Jersey, but there was one on Long Beach Island too. That's maybe a half hour, 45 minutes north of me or whatever. Maybe we can even visit that other shark attack site, and then I can and we had one here. I think on this island too.
Yeah, they're there. The sharks are there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So anyhow, folks, I want to. Special thanks to Captain Ray for coming on tonight and filling us in on that great drone meetup. And I encourage everybody to go over to Captain Ray Kelly's YouTube channel, Adventures of Captain Ray, and watch the whole video, whatever. From just the clips we saw, it looks like it was an incredible day and whatever. And Johnny, thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you.
Doing a little preview of the Wednesday Night Fly for Fun show, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our special guest, Randall
Warnes.
I got to learn his name by Wednesday, Warnes or whatever. So it's going to be a great show. Marcus, thanks always for co-hosting with me. And, Marcus, we have one more quick way out.
Well, yeah, just one more thing to point out. I thought that Sean was live. He's going live at the bottom of the hour. So
okay, so everybody, just wait around. And Sean will be going live from. Does Las Vegas have a nickname?
Ron, you're not blowing your own horn, but the other great guest we have is Ron Brown's going to be on the Fly for Fun show with Randall Warnes.
Asking the tough questions. I'll be the bad guy that night.
He's got the drone. You know, he knows about it. You know.
Oh, okay. Now stop one right there. Ron Brown being the bad guy. No. That just doesn't compute at all. I can't imagine anybody ever or Ron ever being the bad guy at anything. Yeah, no.
So Marcus, if Ron was an attorney, he would never win any trial. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
If you commit murder, don't hire Ron.
Well, I'd be the guy that what are you plea bargaining or whatever? I'd plea bargain everything down for you. Well, you know, I got you out of the electric chair. You only have to do life in prison.
Well, thank you for the invite, Ron and Marcus. I always appreciate being on DroneNation. As far as I'm concerned, it's one of the best live streams on.
That's great, and your check will be in the mail shortly for that comment. All right,
he gets a check every 15 days in the mail. I think he said.
I know. Ray's the richest guy on YouTube or whatever. I want to thank everybody out in the chat tonight. We had a lot of our regulars in here tonight. I saw Lon in here. Lauren was in here. Bob Casey, John Coopy, Sam and Rose FPV, DeMarco at FSU Grad 03. I mean, so many names. Casey Stack. I'm just looking at some of the recent names. Sunrise Water Media. Just all the people out here. I can't name you all. Crypto Man 5000. Rishi Roskioko. I can't say it like Mikey can or whatever.
Akarasho.
There you go. So I want to thank every people that were in early and left. Sorry I didn't get to you earlier. JSK Enterprise. But good night, everyone. And don't forget, if you don't know when a drone show's on, go to Johnny's spreadsheet. If you don't have it, contact Johnny.
I updated it tonight, actually.
Freshly updated sheet, so you know when all the shows are on. Try to support as many channels as you can, and tell them DroneNation sent you and Johnny.
Thank you.
Good night.
Great night, everybody.